Good morning, guys and girls. Welcome back to the channel, The Boundary Line. Today's topic for discussion is stop sharing everything with everybody. Just stop. Do you often find yourself blabbering off everything that's going on in your life? To just anyone and everyone that you know, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at some stage or another we're all been guilty of it, and some of us probably more than others, but I'm going to touch on this, and I'm going to go into some reasons as to why you shouldn't just go and blabber everything. Firstly, let's go into why we overshare, and I think the most pertinent point is validation. I think we all love to hear somebody say, "Oh, well done," or "That's really good, that really suits you," or "You two would be really good together," or "Oh my God, you'd be really successful at that." Everyone wants to hear that stuff, or you just want to bounce it off someone and get their opinion. And more often than not, you're really only looking for the pluses. You're not really interested in the minuses and the objections. So that in itself is a reason to just shut up and keep your mouth closed. Firstly, what you have to realise is when you're sharing something with somebody that you consider, we'll say you consider them a friend, in all honesty, most people don't care. They just don't care. Honestly, I've been in these situations many, many times, and it's like a loop, and it's a constant loop, and it's also a great way to reassess who are your friends and who aren't. And I can tell you now, most people aren't your friends, but again, that's a topic for discussion in another video, but it also intertwines with this, and that is you find yourself going off on some tangent as to what you're going to do. You're really excited, and you actually stop and observe. Watch that person when you're telling them. And I'll tell you now, most people just really don't care, and you'll know by their response. It's generally something like, "Oh yeah," or "It won't work," or they start talking about themselves. So that in itself is a good reason to just stop for a minute before you start running your mouth off. Also, running off your mouth shoots off the same dopamine as if you've actually achieved these goals. So you've almost run your race before you've even gone to the starting gate. And that's the truth. That's just how it is. Think about that for a minute. Telling someone releases the same dopamine as if you've done it. So it's like, you've lived that moment and it's gone. It's past, You want to save that energy for actually putting it into the task itself. Now, how you can tell if it's the right person? Well, it's somebody that will encourage you straight off the bat, or the second you say, "Hey, guess what?" And, they might lean forward, look at their body language, and they might look really interested, and they might just automatically give you that sense of caring and that sense of I'll say love, but it's the right energy, I guess, and you can call that energy whatever you like, but you'll know, and you know who these people are. They are the ones that will ask questions. They'll be engaging. They'll look you in the eye. They won't be fidgeting on their phone. That is something that you should really, 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 really look out for. For example, I caught up with a friend the other day, and I guess it didn't matter what I was talking about. They were either checking a text, changing the channel on the TV, absolutely anything but what I was saying. And fortunately, it was nothing deep, but I concluded that today wasn't the day for them, and they're actually even a friend. But he just wasn't in the capacity to take on anything that I had going on. And it's not about burning a friend also. It's just about having awareness and knowing when is the right time. There's also a real power in silence. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing all the time. Whether that's going on that first date, whether it's on you've got a business idea that you want to launch and you're researching. There's some real power in just flying under the radar and not having people's energy stick to you. I think I've touched on this in other videos in the past. Energy is a very powerful thing, and although you can't see it, it can manifest itself in ways that can stick to you, and in positive and negative ways. But more often than not, if you're sharing everything, all your hopes and fears, it's probably not going to have the greatest effect on you, because to put it in perspective, let's say you've got a friend who's just got divorced, and you're about to go on a first date and they've just had a messy breakup and you're happy, you don't mean to rub the salt in the wound to them, but can you imagine how they're going to feel like when you start talking about something that makes you really happy and love and all this, and all they're thinking about is, you know, a divorce settlement, alimony, however it ended, I don't know. Maybe they cheated, maybe they got dumped, maybe they dumped the person, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, whatever you're talking about that's bringing you happiness and joy is highly, highly unlikely to be an energetic exchange that is going to be beneficial to your well-being and to your desires that you're trying to manifest. I promise you, these things are real, man. When I say man, I'm not, I'm sure there's ladies out there listening, so it's just urban speak slang, so forgive me. Yeah, I just can't stress enough just how important it is to keep these things close to your chest. The true warrior doesn't reveal his plans. And also, stop and think about this as well. People like myself who are excitable and love to open up and talk about things, most people aren't like me. And, you know, these people are doing things all the time. I know people, for example, that like you find out a year later that like they did something that was unreal. Like, I don't know, like they might say, oh, by the way, come to my holiday house this week. And you're like, oh, did you just get it? Oh, no, we bought it 2 years ago. They never told anyone. They just did it quietly. They just go about things quietly. They're minimising that energetic residue that can hang around you. I know this might all sound really kooky, but I'm really big on energy. And you know, if you're trying to better yourself and you're trying to you know, find inner peace and happiness, I can take away the spiritual connotation of energy and just think of it as functioning on a level that is beneficial to your well-being. You don't have to call it energy. Just know that like the more you talk, the more you are opening yourself up to failure, disappointment. And that's another thing too, you know, like when you say to someone, hey, I'm starting a business, and you've gone and blabbered your mouth to everybody, there are people, they're going to ask you about it. How's it going? For whatever reason, whether they want you to succeed, whether they want you to fail. And you're also putting pressure on yourself, which is also conducive to failure, because you sort of feel like you sort of have to do something now to you know, keep up with all the big noting you've done about yourself, when you could have just gone about it quietly and built whatever you're going to build quietly, and you know, let the results speak for themselves. You know, turn up to someone's house one day in that new car, and then, you know, have them say, wow, okay, you've been a busy man, I didn't know. Just think about it like that. And ultimately it just boils down to stop telling everyone what you're going to do and just do it. You know, it's as simple as that. And I'll go back to what I was saying before about people not caring. I remember an incident with me a couple of years ago. I was launching something with someone. It was an online sort of venture, and excuse the shade, by the way. And I used to catch up with this person quite regularly, and they've got their own business. And I thought, okay, he'll understand. And I can't begin to tell you, after the first time I mentioned it to them, they were never interested. They never showed any interest. They basically would change the subject or just get distracted. Excuse me, I've got to take a call or something like that. Who's the idiot? Me. And I would still bring it up to them, honestly. And I knew at the time, like sometimes he never asked, and I would just bring it up. Oh, you know, wouldn't it be good if this happened, or wouldn't it be good if that happened? I swear to you, they did not give a shit. And I can tell you right now, this isn't even someone that was an associate. It was someone I thought was my friend. And there were other circumstances which unravelled in time, and I can say they're no longer in my life, and, you know, that was the right thing. And I guess that was the catalyst. It wasn't so much that if someone doesn't listen to you, you piss them off, but this was an evaluation of sorts, and yeah, they're no longer in my life, and it's completely justified, because you really shouldn't be leaning emotionally on people or opening up to people that, you know, you believe are friends that aren't friends. I mean, that also requires discernment to understand who are the real people, and who are the, I guess, just the fakes, the fly-by-nights, the fair weather friends. Honestly, I could go on and on about this, but you know, tell me your thoughts. I can go into more spirituality based on my experiences, based on, you know, my understanding of things. And again, there's no right or wrong when it comes to any of this. It's just opinion. It's just a code. It's just a way to live by. It's just a way I live by. If that in any way interests you, let me know. By the way, what a beautiful day today. I'm almost ready to finish my walk and have another coffee. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your experiences. Forgive me for being a little bit all over the place, but I'm sure you get the gist of it. And I look forward to seeing you in all the upcoming videos. Have a great day.